College was a whirlwind of lectures, late-night study sessions, and the occasional caffeine-fueled all-nighter. As finals week loomed, the library became my second home. One evening, the weight of textbooks and stress led me to the deserted top floor, a haven of quiet amidst the chaos. The top floor was a maze of dimly lit bookshelves, a place where the only companions were the musty smell of old paper and the creaking floorboards beneath my footsteps. Intrigued by the prospect of a quiet study nook, I wandered deeper into the stacks, oblivious to the encroaching darkness. The further I ventured, the more the surroundings morphed into a secluded sanctuary frozen in time. Dusty tomes lined the shelves like silent sentinels, their spines cracked and yellowed with age. An ancient chandelier hung overhead, its dim glow casting long, eerie shadows that danced on the walls. Nestled in the back, I found the perfect spot to immerse myself in my studies. The air was thick with the scent of history, and the silence was a welcome contrast to the usual hustle and bustle of the library below. Little did I know that the tranquility of that secluded corner was a facade for something more ominous. Engrossed in my books, I heard a faint whisper, like a distant echo bouncing off the walls. I dismissed it as a figment of my imagination, a byproduct of stress-induced exhaustion. But as I delved deeper into my notes, the whispers persisted, growing more insistent and impossible to ignore. I strained to identify the source, my ears tuning into the spectral chorus. The whispers seemed to emanate from the very walls of the alcove, a soft, melodic hum that tugged at the edges of my consciousness. I shivered, the temperature dropping as an unseen force enveloped me in its chilling embrace. As I looked up from my books, the ancient chandelier above me began to sway gently, casting erratic shadows that flickered across the shelves. The air felt charged with an otherworldly energy, and I found myself ensnared in a surreal tableau of light and shadow. A sudden gust of wind rustled the pages of the books around me, and the whispers crescendoed into an ethereal chorus. I felt a presence, unseen yet palpable, as if the very essence of the library had come alive. Faint apparitions danced at the periphery of my vision, elusive specters that defied explanation. Panic seized me as the temperature plummeted, my breath misting in the frigid air. I gathered my belongings, the whispers now a cacophony of disembodied voices recounting tales of long-forgotten tragedies. The shadows on the walls seemed to have unseen energy, and the once inviting alcove had transformed into a realm of uncertainty. Terrified, I fled the haunted enclave, the whispers pursuing me through the narrow aisles. I raced down the dimly lit corridors, the spectral voices echoing in my ears until I reached the library's exit. As I stepped into the crisp night air, the oppressive silence returned, and the whispers faded into the recesses of memory. The librarian, who had been conspicuously absent during my spectral ordeal, greeted me with a knowing smile. "Late nights bring out the restless spirits that haunt these old shelves," she said, her eyes twinkling with a wisdom beyond the mundane. I left the library that night, haunted not only by the weight of my textbooks but by the inexplicable encounter in the forgotten alcove. The academic sanctuary had revealed its hidden depths, leaving me to wonder if the whispers were the echoes of countless stories buried within the pages of time, or the lingering spirits of those who sought solace in the quietude of the top floor. College life was an adventure, and my first semester brought a mix of excitement and the unexpected. I lucked out with a room in the dorms and a roommate named Jake. Now, Jake was a mystery wrapped in a black hoodie, a guy of few words and constant shadows. One night, after a long library session, I came back to our dimly lit dorm. My bed was a refuge, illuminated only by the soft glow of my desk lamp. Jake's side of the room, as usual, was shrouded in darkness, adding an eerie touch to the quiet space. I started unpacking, trying to shake off the stress of exams when a faint whisper caught my attention. It was subtle, like the room itself was gossiping. I strained to catch the words, but they were a cryptic language, a mystery in the air. Jake wasn't around, so I dismissed it as my imagination playing tricks. But then, the whispers persisted, growing louder, and I realized they were coming from Jake's side of the room. The atmosphere shifted, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something unusual was unfolding. I stood there, the air thickening with an unspoken tension. The whispers transformed into an eerie melody, a haunting soundtrack to the shadows that danced on Jake's bed. I felt a chill in the air, the kind that crawls up your spine and lingers. It was as if the room itself was alive with some unseen energy. I couldn't resist the urge to investigate. As I approached Jake's bed, the shadows gathered, forming a silhouette without any distinct features. It was like staring at a void, a shapeless entity that seemed to feed off the darkness. Fear crept in, but curiosity held me in its grip. The room seemed to drop in temperature, and a cold breeze enveloped me as if the whispers sought a willing ear. The shadows clung to the silhouette, making it an unsettling spectacle. I felt like an intruder in a realm I couldn't understand, caught between the ordinary and the unexplained. With a sudden rush of wind, the shadows dispersed, and the room returned to stillness. The whispers faded away, leaving me bewildered and standing in the harsh light of reality. I rushed to turn on all the lights, banishing the shadows that had taken on a life of their own. That night, Jake returned, oblivious to the paranormal encounter. I debated whether to share my experience, but chose to keep quiet, fearing judgment. The room, once a haven, now felt like a place harboring secrets hidden in the folds of Jake's mysterious hoodie. In the following days, the room became a battleground between normalcy and the inexplicable. I couldn't shake the unease that lingered in the shadows. Every creak, every whisper, felt like a subtle reminder that something beyond the everyday was at play. Despite my attempts to rationalize the encounter, I found myself glancing over my shoulder. Jake continued his routine, seemingly unworried, but the room held a tension, a thin veil between the known and the uncharted. College life was supposed to be about exams and new friendships, not shadows that whispered secrets in the dead of night. My dorm, nestled on the outskirts of campus, had its share of quirky tales. However, one legend stood out: the mysterious echoes in the old dormitory building. Whispers circulated that if you listened closely, you could hear the residual conversations of past residents in the dead of night. Curiosity got the better of my friends and me, and one evening, armed with flashlights and nervous laughter, we decided to test the legend. The dormitory was a maze of narrow hallways and creaking floorboards, dimly lit by flickering overhead lights. As midnight approached, we gathered in the lobby, our anticipation palpable. The dorm had an otherworldly hush as we ventured down the dimly lit corridor to room 313, a room rumored to be a hub of strange occurrences. The air grew colder as we approached, and the creaking of the floor beneath our feet seemed to echo louder in the silence. We entered room 313 and the air felt charged with an unexplainable energy. As we stood in the center of the room, our flashlights revealed faded posters on the walls and an abandoned desk covered in a thin layer of dust. A chill ran down my spine as the clock tower struck midnight. Suddenly, a low murmur filled the room, as if distant conversations from the past were seeping through the walls. I exchanged wide-eyed glances with my friends, who were equally captivated by the spectral symphony surrounding us. The voices grew clearer, snippets of laughter, arguments, and the hum of camaraderie. As the echoes of the past intensified, I felt a strange connection with the room's history. Shadows seemed to dance on the walls, casting shapes of former residents frozen in a timeless moment. I caught glimpses of students huddled over textbooks, sharing secrets, and navigating the labyrinth of college life. In the midst of the spectral echoes, a singular voice rose above the rest. It was a soft, melancholic whisper, recounting tales of missed opportunities and unfulfilled dreams. The weight of the past hung in the air, a poignant reminder of the transient nature of college life. Overwhelmed by the emotional resonance of the dormitory echoes, we remained in room 313, listening to the fragments of lives that had once intertwined within those walls. The clock struck 1, and the echoes gradually faded, leaving us in the silence of the present. As we exited the room, the once creaking floor beneath our feet seemed to sigh in relief. The dormitory returned to its slumber, its secrets and echoes hidden once again. My friends and I exchanged knowing glances, forever bound by the shared experience of the spectral voices that lingered in the quiet corners of our college dormitory. The legend of Room 313 became a cherished part of our college lore, a testament to the passing nature of student life and the echoes of the past that continue to resonate in the present.